The earth must be a globe. My beloved first grade teacher had one on her desk and she told me so. Your own logic, your intense demeanor, and then critical thinking should be supported by your own answers. You shouldn't remain a milk-drinking child all of your life. And if you're a seeker of truth, then you've got to learn to think for yourself. Because there's so much information abundant out there everywhere, and you folks, what are you doing? You're stuck in TV. The TV is owned and controlled by the CIA and the Vatican, and these people are terrorists. They're treasonous. We are controlled with fear and with ignorance. When you're a glober who refuses to even consider facts about the flat earth that have not been taught you, you're an idiot. How can you just say, no, I don't want to see or hear anything about it because I'm convinced that the earth is a round spinning ball? Only idiots talk like that. Then you are stiff-necked, proud, and comfortable, feeling no further knowledge can be shown you. You're on top of the game. You got it all figured out. Well, I say bull hockey on that. One who seeks truth to share with others and to learn for themselves the secrets that is being kept from them, they never stop seeking truth. They never stop questioning. When you stop questioning and when you say nothing else can interfere into your thought, nothing can change your mind, you are a finished product of mind control. Because you're so caught up in your stupor of delusion and your false sense of comfort and security that you even refuse to listen to truth. So that's where your minds go. That's where the minds of men go. They're satisfied living in a deception of lies and confusion. They want to stay in that comfort zone. You need nothing that questions what you believe, that has been taught you by the very same who are known to teach you to do as they say and not as they do. My lessons encourage you to check things out and to do your own reasoning. Are the questions a good thing? Look for the facts outside of what you have been taught. You've been taught to believe, or you've been taught to fear from questioning what you're being taught. If you're in school and you're questioning the teachers enough about a certain topics, they'll take care of you. They'll get you out of that school. If you're a wide awake person, they don't want anybody to hear what you're saying or know anything about what you're thinking. You folks need to understand that they are brainwashing you, and they are browbeating and teaching and controlling even your very thought process of mind to keep you believing every lie they lay upon you. Since I know that and now understand the flat earth, I know who controls what and over whose heads. And any of you people that don't believe this earth is flat, I truly feel sorry for your dumbasses. Because the earth is flat. Anybody that's ever been up in an airplane or been out on the ocean, do you see curvature? Water seeks its own level. Do you think water's going to stay on a 25,000 mile ball that's spinning over 1,000 miles an hour? You couldn't keep anything on the surface of something like that. Turning deaf ears and blind eyes to simple truth is pitiful. And the true man of righteousness can't ignore it. No brag, just fact. Truth is the flat earth awakens the programmed pack of BS that has been taught you and programmed into your controlled subconscious, and you are convinced of lies by those who make sport of your limited intellect until you start thinking for yourself and teaching yourself from the facts, past and present. You choose blissful ignorance. Expand your intellect or decay in your box of ignorance. Those that teach you nothing and those that repeat the same BS over and over and over again, no matter how many channelers they're picking up, no matter how many views they're picking up, they are basking in their own glory, and they are fakes and they're false prophets. They're regurgitating what they have picked up from other people, and these other people are regurgitating what they picked up from other people who are all deceived, or they're paid to distract and deceive you. So why do you continue to run back to them every day? This keeps you stupid, and it keeps you docile. You blame your teachers for teaching you the globe? Well, wake up. Let me ask you something. So how is one blind or idiot teacher different from another? They draw the willing into their stupor, or they're paid to deceive you intentionally because they don't care anything about the truth. They have no respect for the truth. I cannot believe that all of these teachers who teach you the globe believe that we live on a 1,000-mile-an-hour spinning globe, and the water makes a great big 25,000-mile curve, because that eliminates the physics of water seeking its own level. And what do they attribute that to? Oh, gravity keeps water in a curve. You, not a single one of you, can make water stay in place when it is out of level or it is in a curve. Not a single one of you. You can't even do it with magic. Your conscience, your own selves, you convince your own conscience to accept the bliss of ignorance that the pros and the amateurs keep you in. And deep down inside yourself, you reason to do this because your pride and your vanity will become uncomfortable if the real truth clashes with what you think you're an authority on. You can't handle the truth, so you refuse to hear it, you refuse to accept it, and you are so vain and so prideful, you are afraid of the truth. I stay constantly depressed because I pity the cowards and the fools for the snares and the traps that their tunnel vision has got them trapped in their prepared box that has been prepared for them, and they have been taught to calmly stay in it, and you're content to live in that box. When some people wake up and realize that those that they look up to are teaching them false perceptions, they are faced with a question of what they think. Is it truth, and what can they do with it, or what do they do with it? Keep on going along with the deceptions, or do they outcast themselves from things like the globe construct lie? You've got to outcast yourself from that fabricated, programmed into your mind. This keeps the lies alive for your reluctance to seek truth. Even if it hurts you, you need to seek the truth. If you're trying to be a truther and you're a seeker of truth, and your intent is to learn truth and share it with other people, to wake them up. You can't make up things. You can't fabricate things. So that's why the things that I tell y'all, anything I tell you, the information to prove it and validate it is abundant on the internet, and y'all refuse to check it out. Folks, I'm telling you right now, if you had a piece of an idea of how evilly controlled your minds and your perceptions are, some of you would feel so bad about your own stupidness that you might do something to your own selves instead of waking up and seeking the truth so you can better understand what's going on, which will enable you to help someone else who is where you are right now. You're saying that guy's a kook. He can't even talk in a normal tone of voice. Oh my God, he uses cuss words. You're pathetic. And I have to tell you, you know what that shows me? That shows me that you're unfair, you're mean, and you are definitely quite ignorant, wallowing in your quagmire that's been programmed into you, and you have been made to believe every little piece of it lock, stock, and barrel. And I'm telling you right now, my depression comes from the love and the pity I feel for you all. You keep sitting on your duffs. Just stay comfortable, stay out of harm's way, wait your turn to die of man-made natural causes. Not God-made natural causes, not even natural causes. What is killing everybody is man-made devices, the work of tectonic weapons. That HARP machine is a weather modification machine. It's created every hurricane, every storm that has caused devastation, destruction. It can make volcanoes erupt. It can make volcanoes out of mountains that never was a volcano. And you folks fail to look it up for yourselves because Fox News don't tell you about it, CNN don't tell you about it, and the CIA and the preachers tell you don't question. Just don't get upset, even though they're killing your mom and your dad and your kids and your dogs and everything else. Don't get upset. God is going to avenge all the bad that's happening to you. Well, I say bullshit. That's why millions to billions of people keep getting creamed all the time because they're waiting on God to fight for them. You people should understand that if you don't fight for yourselves, you are totally F-U-C. You gotta quit accepting these false lies and BS that has been given you. The reason that you don't do it is because you're comfortable in your comfort zones and you're afraid of the truth. You're afraid of the truth. Folks, let me tell you something. Regurgitated CIA-controlled media and PSYOP programs, the MK Ultra mind control program, but it lies within your personal, your unbiased, your deductive reasoning through thought process, through critical thinking, and you've got to have the willingness to exodus your comfort zone, furnished up and taught you how you should process thought, as any and all truth known to man should be taught to all men. Discrepancies need to be questioned. If you strive to be fair in all things, and you strive to be righteous in considerations of everything, then question things that to you do not seem right, or they seem even unrighteous, or they seem unfair. And then your preachers are telling you, don't question nothing, don't worry about all of the mass murder, the genocides that God is going to even the score later on. If you can't discern to take a stand against evil and against those who administer it, then you're missing something really big and serious. How can you refuse to have questions and to be curious about the things that are making people sick and killing people out of their normal life expectancies and costing them all of the way? Everything that connects to these chemtrails and to this radiation, everything that connects to them is a money-making connection for the New World Order bankers and corporations. Everything connected to it is for their fun, their games, and their profit. And that's what they do to you sheeple. They laugh at you, they make fun of you, and they just adore you people who say, I don't have any questions, or I don't care to know about it, it ain't bothering me. You're fools. You are fools. You believe what you are told to believe by those in the employ of those who are putting on an entertainment show and a mind-controlling show. Entertainment and mind controlling for the stupid masses who are stupid because they're uneducated and they are too lazy to seek the truth. They're too comfortable to even question. You're lazy and you're trifling and you're distracted. Sex and drugs and rock and roll, that's the only thing makes the world click for you. You never look up in the sky unless Fox News or CNN or somebody like that tells you, oh, there's going to be something for you to see. Well, there are things for you to see up in the sky all of the time. I've shown you these pictures of all of these chemtrails. I've given you the substances that is within these chemtrails, which is destroying the earth and all of the life there is on the earth. They use electromagnetic frequencies. They come after us with electromagnetic frequencies to give us brain tumors, to give us throat cancer, to create problems and conditions in our physical body that kills us, because they can't silence us. They can't just come out to the house and blow you away, because there's somebody might ask a question. Well, this person was talking about this and talking about that. Would they go out there and kill them for? Because that's the only way they can shut some people up. You folks don't understand. I keep telling you that these people are evil and evil-minded and they're doing evil things. Look up in the sky and look at the chemtrails, and then go on YouTube and research and see all of the ingredients that's in these chemtrails. They're openly committing mass genocide, first-degree murder on all of us, and everybody is so comfortable in their zones and in their little comfort zones of delusion and comfort zones of ignorance. You're bliss in your ignorance because you're lazy and you refuse to seek the truth, while your mothers and your fathers and your children die of diseases. In 1960, the cancer rate in America was 1 in 26, and that includes all the cancers: skin cancer, gum cancer. And today, what is it? 2 in 3 in America, and we're talking billions of dollars in research. Billions of animals and many, many human beings sacrificed so they could do their research. And let me tell you something else about these electromagnetic frequencies. The reason it ain't bothering the military and the cops and the federal government agents is because they use a GPS system, and they find where these people live, and they put an umbrella over their home, over their residence, and shrouds them and their family while they're in their home and on their property from the effects of the electromagnetic frequencies. They use a GPS system, and they can put a gazillion spots all across the United States, and those spots, they're your commanders, they're your military people. They're being protected from these frequencies. That's why they don't feel them. The only time they feel them is 8 to 10 hours they're away from their house, out in the public. And then who knows what kind of protective and preventive measures that they take, pills they take, whatever it is to keep them. Like potassium iodide. Our government should be supplying that stuff free to everybody with all the radiation that's covering the United States from Fukushima, Japan. And now they've used their HAARP machine, just like they're using on Yellowstone, creating resonance frequencies, which is vibrating the ground. They caved an area in, and now radiation is leaking out of Washington State.
These are inside jobs, and you folks are just too lazy to look it up for yourselves, and then you're too scared to do anything about it. But all your family is dying. They're murdering everybody. They're killing all the animals, destroying all of the vegetation, the plant life. They're killing the nutrient in the soil and the topsoil of the surface of the earth, and you folks don't care. They held a lie off of you and kept it secret about the earth actually being flat. How can anybody in their right mind believe that we live on a 25,000 mile in circumference spinning globe that spins 1,037 miles an hour? How can any mason, and I'm talking about construction masons as well as masons, how can anybody believe?
It's all fabricated lies. It's all deception. It's all by NASA. Go on YouTube on the internet and key into the search bar, lies of NASA. You would spend months and you'll never look at all of the information about the deceptions and the lies of NASA. You think man has actually landed on the moon? What a joke. The moon is fixed in a matrix of electronic and frequencies. They can make any light show up there. They can put spaceships up there, alien spaceships. They can do anything with their holographic program. I knew somebody that worked at NASA for on the hologram program. You folks, I'm not blowing smoke at you. I've done so much research.
Have you ever heard of a, no, you haven't heard of it, but there is a production company called Amen Stop Productions, and they tell you all about the word amen and how it's been adapted by us. It's every time you say amen, you're acknowledging Ammon, and that ain't a good thing for you people that know about the Bible. That's what amen means, Ammon. It's spelled 2 or 3 different ways. What I want to tell you this, Amen Stop Productions has so much information in it, it will blow your tree over. It'll rip that big oak tree right out of the ground by the roots. It tells you how the Rothschilds, it gives you names and dates and times of the 9/11 job. It tells you who was watching from penthouse suites across the Jersey Bay. They had a ringside balcony seat for the whole show of 9/11, and that's what 9/11 was. It was a show. I got a question for you. Besides these people, these rich banker and corporation people like the Rothschilds, besides people like that sitting in balconies, have balcony seats to the whole show of 9/11 sitting across the water, what else do you know about? How many cops do you think got killed? How many firemen you think got killed? How many innocent people you think got sacrificed to a fire and violence and death god, Murdoch or Modoc or something like that? All peoples of this flat earth need to realize one thing. Since 9/11, 6 million plus lives have been snuffed out because of that inside job. That many innocent men, women, and children, their whole cities, their whole communities, their towns destroyed, their homes brought down to rubble. Their stock, their livestock, their families' ways of life, their businesses, their income, their water's been polluted, their food it's no food left for them, no clean water. People right now today, the Rothschilds, the interest that they bring in 1 month can feed every starving mouth and create a brand new home for every homeless person across the entire flat earth. And they are the bankers. They control the interest rates. They control the prices of gold, silver, stones, everything. And what do y'all do? You sit on your hands waiting for God to even the score, because that's what you've been brainwashed into believing. Stay your hand. Don't raise a hand to nobody. Don't get upset. Don't encourage anybody else to get upset or look for the truth. Just wait, because God's going to handle it. Well, that thing that I'm talking about, Ring of Power, done by Amen Stop Productions, it gives you a little insight on that right there for you lazy dumb bunnies who don't want to I'm telling you folks, I'm going to try to read and quit ad-libbing stuff in here, and you try to listen, okay? The country's law enforcement personnel has joined the terrorists for money, and all of you are their potential victims and their prey. You are the prey of these carnivores. They enjoy themselves watching their prey squirm around, try to figure out what the truth is or what they can do about it. They enjoy themselves watching. And I gravely discredited myself with one of their bones of deceit. We're a bunch of little dogs and they pitch out bones for us all at a time. We're nothing. We're lower than slaves. We're as low as whale poop. You understand what I'm telling you right now? Because that's the only time any of y'all ever look up in the air is when you're encouraged to look up by the news, by the television. And there's enough evidence and enough proof out there that only the lazy and the idiots don't know this already. You should check out a 9/11 video on YouTube called 9/11-Firemen, Police saying that there are bombs in the buildings. You should check out another video that says, If I Wanted, the title is called, If I Wanted America to Fail. That's 15 minutes and it'll blow your tree. You see, folks, those of the New World Order know and select projects of subject matter to control as many topics of interest, and those who are interested and those who are useful through certain roles, working with, whether they know it or not, working with the New World Order. There's no rules for the New World Order in anything, and everything they do is for fun and for gain. And y'all don't have enough sense to see it because you're so comfortable in your zones of confusion, your own vanity and your own pride, your own self-image of how you see things and how you think things are. And it ain't what you think it is, and it ain't what you see it is, and it is not what you've been brainwashed and taught all of your life into believing. So certain ones are more out for others than themselves. What I mean by that is certain people who do videos are doing videos to educate people. They're not doing it for money. They're not doing it for God. They're not doing it for personal gain. They're not doing it for vanity. They're not doing it for hits, popularity. Most of them are doing it to control you, the masses, to keep your mind centered, focused on stuff that is fabricated for you to believe and be convinced of, because so many agree with it and say that it's true. So all you're doing, you're penguins following the penguin that is in front of you. You're little baby chicks. It's always been my number one intent to give you all the truth that I can muster, all the truth I can find, all the truth that I know. These other channelers, these Christian channelers, they're telling you what they see and what they believe, but everything they're telling you, even though they may believe it wholeheartedly, everything they're telling you is what has been taught them by deceiving people. Even the Bible has been handled by so many evil hands. Every king and every queen are Jesuits, every one of them. In 1611, King James was the last editing on the King James Version of the Bible. My golly, they took umpteen bunches of books out of the Bible. It's down to 66. I think it was 80 some books when King James in 1611 edited, and now it's just 66 books. And now they've already made new Bibles, which has taken more books out of the Bible. They keep cutting everything because they're smart people, and people who seek the truth will find the smallest building blocks that other people don't see to try to use for their thought process, their critical thinking, so they can find and seek out the truth. Every little tidbit of information that enables someone to put truth together is being eliminated from the Bible and being eliminated from the school books. Just like the truth about Japan bombing Pearl Harbor. That was a set-up, pre-planned, retaliation after the peace talks of Japan and China were bombed by Britain and the United States Air Force. They bombed them to draw them into a third world war. That's why right now, you take the Adrian Sea. They've conquered and taken every country around the Adrian Sea, and they say people think their objective is to build a pipeline from Iraq down to the water. They've already got a water pipeline. That pipeline going across these countries that they have now invaded and conquered and ravaged and controlled. Just like up in the Dakotas, they're building an oil line, running it through one river that supplies all of the drinking water for a huge Indian nation. One oil leak, the river is polluted, the fish in the river are gone. The salmon counts and the trout counts are down so low that you folks don't even realize they have already destroyed the ecosystem for the United States by destroying the Pacific Ocean with Japan's radiation. And what do? I didn't hear it on Fox News. I'm not going to believe old Wes Truther because he's just a raving lunatic. Where does he get all of this stuff from? I get it because I work for it. I go and look for it because I seek the truth. I want to know the truth. And then my spirit tells me to share the truth with others, whether they want to hear it or not. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. People keep looking up in the sky and say, oh yeah, they're laying down the chemtrails today. Al Gore made $100 million off of a book about global warming. They've got instruments that they put that's been in effect for about 19 years, and it shows no global warming. And now Al Gore wants trillions of dollars to do research on global warming. Trillions of dollars, and Congress will give it to him because they've all done got them to molest children and lie and rob and steal and be part of first-degree murders. So they're hooked. They're going to vote on the way they're told to vote, and they're going to vote on the things, and they're going to pass the things, and they're going to give the money to the ones that they are told to do it. Just like the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security was presented to Congress as an advisory committee. And what have they done? They bought billions of rounds of ammunition, tanks and MRAP vehicles with flamethrowers and grenade launchers. They have militarized all the police departments. You know why that is? That's for you dummies when you wake up and you're disarmed and you're mad and you can't do nothing about what you then will realize is actually going on. They dot all their I's and they cross all their T's. You folks have no idea what's going on. No. These wars surrounding the Adrian Sea have many different reasons. There's many different things of immense value. Just like Jordan covers up biblical truth that contradicts biblical documentation and historic truth that contradicts what is written in the King James Version of the Bible. Not saying that the Bible is all BS, but the Bible has blank places. What happened to Jesus for 30 years? What happened to Moses' tomb? What happened to the staff of Moses, which is the first weapon of mass destruction considered by many? The first and most powerful weapon of mass destruction that there was on the earth. The burning bush, supposedly God, who told Moses to cast his staff on the ground and it turned into a serpent. What about the serpent in the Garden of Eden that defiled Adam and Eve? That caused the fall of man from a perfect Garden of Eden into a constant live your whole life trying to prove that you're worthy of something else. That's taught to you in the scriptures. How come the serpent was cursed to crawl upon its belly and to be the most cursed thing across the earth? And then the burning bush, and then when Moses brought the 10 plagues down on Egypt, according to the scriptures, Moses was told by who? By God? That's what the scriptures say, to fashion and fasten the head of a serpent on the end of his staff. And that is what he was supposed to, according to scriptures, got rid of one of the 10 plagues, which was the plague of serpents in Pharaoh's land, in Egypt. You folks understand where I'm coming from? How can the serpent be cursed above everything else and then God tells somebody to use an image, a graven image of the serpent, to do miracles and to do wonders before the eyes of man. You folks are missing something. See, they conquered all of them countries over there in the east, especially around the Adrian Sea. They conquered them for a lot more than just controlling the land where they wanted to build a pipeline. They already had access to water routes to get their oil out of Iraq after they invaded it and robbed it. Then the airspace is claimed by the same people who owns the land and owns the water, and it's the same terrorists that claim the land, the water, and the airspace of the over around the countries that they've invaded. And this extends and increases realty controlled forcibly. Force is what they use to control everything, and it's sometimes the very beginning and start of things, because force is quick and simple, and it's for the simple who won't stand up for themselves, because they know no matter what happens to them, God is going to even the score for them later, after their mothers and fathers and children are all killed. God is going to take care of it? Right. These New World Order monsters and beasts are collecting everything. They knew where there was, they knew things that were there to claim by any means necessary, as most of the entire world is now experiencing. If you got something they want, you're not going to get to keep it, and they will kill you to get it. All branches of the military are in cahoots with the treasonists and the terrorists. You folks don't understand. I keep telling you that these people are evil and evil-minded, and they're doing evil things. I give you folks the whole truth as I believe it. I'm telling you right now, the world has fallen to the morbid and the evil minds of the New World Order, who worship and pretend to worship Satan, who controls this earth with cunning and with mischief intent, killing slaves for sport, for wager, and for profit. And it's evilly schooled into their minds from Jump Street. Hell, they sacrifice their own kids, and that ain't for Christ's sake. Do you think? It's for their image, to keep someone hooked on God, to support their image. What I mean by that? God to support their evil image. They keep you believing in Satan. They keep you believing in God. But they tell you don't do nothing. You can't fight it, just accept it. What happened to all of the gold out of Iraq? There was tons of it. Now the poppy fields in Afghanistan, they're supplying almost 100% of the opium and the cocaine to the world, which is being manipulated and controlled, and money's being made off of it by our CIA. And what do y'all say? Oh, well, I don't know if I believe that or not, and if so, I don't snort it, I don't smoke it, or I don't use it. But it's killing your family, it's poisoning your neighbors, and it's poisoning the mentality of all the human race. How many of y'all realize anything about that? All them 1,000 Japanese who were corralled up by American forces and UN forces and forced into a swamp and kept in that swamp as prisoners while the alligators ate them one at a time. That's another sacrificial offering. And the serpents are the ones who devoured them and tore them to pieces. Because any of them tried to get out of the swamp, they ran into tanks and machine guns and fire coming off of ships in the water. These are inside jobs, and you folks are just too lazy to look it up for yourselves, and then you're too scared to do anything about it.
There's so many lies and so much deception about 9/11, and yet every real criminal and terrorist who had anything to do with 9/11 has gone unpunished, and they've gone unpunished by the unjust, by the unfair, and the unrighteous, who has taught Christians to turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to those descendants of the unrighteous. And you're told God is going to take care of it. Well, who is God? We as individuals often boast of ourselves to have integrity and to have righteousness. Then we show and express resentment and animosity toward others who think for themselves or disagree with our views and our opinions. Where's the righteousness in that? Some say that truth is the most important thing and that we are seekers of truth, but yet we ignore and we avoid the questionable, the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable things that we find due to pride and vanity, and we accept it as truth because it's going to hurt our pride and vanity to admit or to find out that we are mistaken, we are misled, we are being used and mind controlled and abused. No truth is being taught us. If you think these evil people who control everything about this flat earth, if you think they're going to allow a book of total and complete truth to enter into your thought process, then you got another thought coming. These evil people are not going to allow, nor will they ever allow, as long as they're in charge, a complete book of truth that answers your questions without more questions. Where is the integrity in that? Where is the integrity in not allowing you to know the truth and then you being stiff-necked and stubborn and not seeking the truth because your vanity and pride has convinced you that you're already right, that you can find nothing that will discourage you or that will create question in your thought process. You're mind controlled into tunnel vision, and that keeps you securely inside the box prison that has been prepared for all of us by the deceivers, and it has been orchestrated to restrict and to pattern our individual critical thought process from childhood. And from childhood we are programmed how to think and what to think, and fear is programmed into us for deviating by questioning anything taught us by those who wrote all the school books and of any school, all the school books of any school. We are commanding. We are commanding others because of what we believe, and we ourselves are being commanded by the workers of iniquity that here's the truth, don't question it or else. That's controlled and programmed tunnel vision, like sheep's who's unnatural. It's like sheep who unnaturally, their nature is to stand and watch as all around them is slain one by one until it's their turn, until their time to be slain comes up. We are sheeple. We stand and watch as every man, woman, and child and every work, every perfect work of God the Creator is destroyed by these evil people. We stand and watch, and we live under a false premise that God is going to make things right. Well, He ain't making anything right for you in this life. Channels are being erased off of YouTube. People I just heard, I think it was Theodore Daniel said today, that he's got 400 and some videos that he's posted on his channel, and only 200 and some of them are accessible to him. That means that many or less or more, that many or more is inaccessible to the people who are seeking what he's saying. That's the control that they have. They can come into your computer. If you plug an external hard drive into your computer, they can enter into your external hard drive and take anything from it or put anything in it that they want to. And that includes their schemes and plans for entrapment. They send you all kinds of stuff, and then they bust you for having it on your computer, and half the people it gets busted don't even know that it's been planted in their computers. That's how they bring the truthers down. and then they operate under a false pretense. Oh, we're seeking the pedophiles, we're doing this, we're doing that. Somebody asked a Department of Homeland Security investigator who works in child pornography and child trafficking and all that kind of, not trafficking, but child pornography. Someone asked them the other day straight up, how come y'all don't go after the elite, the senators, the congressmen, the politicians, the people in law enforcement and military? How come you don't go after them and bust them for all of the child crap that they're doing? You know what their answer was? We don't get any of those cases. Where is the righteous, where is the fairness in that? They pick and choose what they work on, and what do they work on? They go after the easy prey who don't have money to expose their treacheries and their tricks and their entrapment programs. Do you understand what's going on? No, you don't. To know the future, one has to know the truth of the past and to be aware of the present. And I bet you it ain't more than 2 or 3 of the 10 or 100 who will view this video that's got it.
Evan Fairbanks shot some very famous footage and appeared on ABC News the night of 9/11.
Watch how the aircraft penetrates the building. Go ahead. Completely in one side and out the other.
It just disappeared. It disappeared like a bad special effect.
The airplane did disappear like a bad special effect. Exactly like a bad special effect. The plane doesn't break, twist, bend, crumple, explode, or even slow down. The building explodes from within, long after the plane appears to go in.
A good special effect would have parts exploding and bouncing off and tumbling to the streets below. I'm not sure it's even possible. I certainly can't animate a realistic airplane crash, but I can do one that's as good as Zetetic.
The result is footage that's every bit as convincing as the original ghost plane footage, which is to say, not completely convincing. In both shots, we don't see any parts of the airplane breaking or bending or twisting.
Another thing that was bad about the special effect in Fairbanks is a blatant contradiction with the special effect in Zetetic. Here's Zetetic, and here's Fairbanks. In Zetetic, as the plane enters the tower, the engines turn into puffballs. We are to believe that these are the engines themselves, or building materials, or something. But whatever the puffballs are meant to represent, notice that they are clearly underneath the wings, as the engines were. Now, look at the Fairbanks video. The location of the wing entrance can easily be marked, and obviously the puffball is well above the left wing. The over-under puffball is irreconcilable with reality, but has an easy explanation in video compositing. The mask was in the wrong place. In this 3D model, Two white spheres represent the location of the puffballs. With the mask in the correct location, the left wing appears to pass over the puffball. Changing only the mask, the left wing now appears to pass under the puffball. They didn't have time to do good special effects. They needed to create airplane composites from a number of different camera angles rather quickly. With a 3D model, the airplane flight can easily be rendered from any camera angle. There's footage of the tower exploding, but how does the compositor know exactly where in time to place the airplane? A little too early or late would cause a discrepancy with the different angles. How can all the airplane overlays be synchronized?
Have you ever wondered why they put a flash and a beep at the beginning of a show? Or why they use a clapperboard at the beginning of a scene?
Mark?
It's for synchronization. The audio and video events are very sudden, lasting only one frame, so they make for a precise time reference.
Mark?
The Twin Tower events each featured a bright flash right when the airplane nose appears to meet the tower.
The flashes make a very handy marker for where to place the nose of the airplane in both time and space. On all of the prepared airplane layers, there is designated a particular frame to be the one where the plane impacts the tower. In the editing software, the impact frame is moved to line up with the flash frame.
We've seen these images in movies and we know that it's all artificial and Hollywood makes it.
It's been proven a number of ways that the Twin Towers were blown to Kingdom Come. Still, official story supporters can fool some people by waving their hands and citing government reports. But all of the various attempts at a collapse theory begin by assuming plane crashes. No planes at the World Trade Center ends the argument.
Still not convinced that the 9/11 airplane videos are fake? You want to prove me wrong? Great. Show me an original video of an airplane penetrating the South Tower. Let me make a high-quality copy and I will pay you $100,000. The airplane videos that do exist all have reduced picture quality. And I think that's because reducing the quality is the best way to hide the messy fingerprints of the compositing process.